Right guys, thanks for clicking on the video. I've got a really good trip actually planned. I am in the OneTigris iron wall tent tonight, do my first hot tent of the actual the camping season just now, so really looking forward to it. It is really cold though, so I'm glad I've got the actual stove with me. So I'm actually going to get the tent set up, get the stove set up and get everything all organised inside. Now unfortunately the weather today has been unbelievable. You've probably seen a little clip at the actual start. It was just torrential, so it wasn't able to really sort of shoot any footage, so I'm running quite a bit behind schedule, so I may very well just sort of get everything set up and get dinner on and do all my chores tomorrow. But I've got some really exciting stuff actually planned, so hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. So as I said, I'm just going to get everything set up for you just now, and I'll hook up with you and show you the actual way that I actually set everything up inside, etc. tonight's sort of setup, so it's going to be a case of the Gore-Tex bivvy and then the Rabascent 700 sleeping bag inside it with the Thermarest sleep mat. So it should be comfy enough. That said, temperature wise it's not meant to be ridiculously low, but it's just because it's been so wet, it's basically making it feel just so actual cold. So again, but as I said, with this with the actual wood burning stove, I'm going to be roasty, so it's going to be absolutely lovely. And the first of many, hopefully I'll get out as often as I can, just through the actual winter. It's just such a good setup. Right, just going to get the rest of the gear in and then that should be me. Oh yes, you get used to this. Now I will confess to cheating a little bit, and actually because I'm just beside the actual big shelter, all I've done is really just taken some wood that I had from the big shelter over as opposed to actually go out and get more. So I've just had this stuff underneath a tarp in there, just to try and make life nice and easy when I come to camp if I'm short of time. Okay, so just gonna have a simple burger, nothing fancy. Okay, I'm just going to go and wash my hands. Wow. Let's see what these bad boys are like. Oh. Cooked all the way through, which is half the battle with me. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And the other one looks okay as well. Now, the stupid thing about it, I actually have cheese back at the actual van. Can't be bothered going back and getting it. So hopefully the light's not too dark already. As I said, it's also clouding over a wee bit, but a bit of blue sky over the actual back there, so I'm hoping that maybe tonight I might get a bit of a star show with any luck. And I've got pudding. But anyway, I'm just going to finish this and then I'll hook up with you again. So that's that rain on that I was sort of talking about earlier on. It was not actually incredibly dark outside, but it's appearing so on the actual camera itself. But I say, I thought I'd just come inside, just actually get a wee bit of shelter from the rain itself and just chill out more than anything else. One of these sort of trips, just very relaxing. So the purpose of the actual trip itself, tomorrow I'm going to be building up the second raised bed over at the actual Viking shelter itself. So getting that built up and trying to get as much in the way of leaves as possible and actually fill up both of the raised beds with leaves just so they can sort of break down over the next wee while. So that's tomorrow's task. That's what I'm actually going to be doing. And I'm hoping to make a new mallet as well. My mallet's sort of half broken, so a couple of wee projects tomorrow that I'm looking forward to having a wee bit of fun. But as I said, just chilling, relaxing, enjoying myself, sort of listening to the wildlife. I always forget about the owl. I always arrive here and as soon as the owl goes, I forget. So he's not called too much. He's only been a couple of times, sort of idea. So it could be an interesting night. So we'll see how we go. If I do manage to get him on the audio, I'll certainly get a wee try. But as I said, I'm just going to relax. I'll probably hook up you a couple of times just before I actually head off to bed. But it's just absolutely lovely. In here is just so warm. In saying that though, so I'm going to show you the actual setup tomorrow in the morning. But the way I actually do it is I've got quite a lot of my luggage down to the right hand side, or my bags and things like that, just to try and sort of protect me. But definitely the left hand side where the actual fire is, brilliant, roasting. But the actual right hand is very cold, so it is definitely going to be a case of sleeping bag, possibly sleeping bag liner, and I'll be in the actual Gore-Tex bivvy, keeping myself toasty. Okay, so I think it's time for another beer actually. See you in a bit. Okay, so I'm just getting my sleeping bag ready. I'm going to get it sort of laying out and put inside the actual bivvy bag. And anyone that's watched the channel before knows it's basically I use the Rabicent 700 sleeping bag. It's more of a 3-season more than anything else, but I've actually got a sleeping bag liner that I actually put in it for the sort of summit camps in the sort of -7s and things like that as well. And that sort of adds another, I think it's -8 that adds on to the actual the temperature already. So basically you're talking almost like a -18 sleeping bag. So it's absolutely perfect. But I'm just going to get it all sort of puffed up. Not going to go to bed yet, but just want to get myself settled in more than anything else. And then I've got the Uko light just there as well that I'm going to put on later on, just when I'm actually chilling, just so I can actually sort of see a little bit. But it is lovely. Clear sky a wee bit just now, so again, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe get a wee bit of a star show tonight. But it's absolutely lovely. Just the noise of the actual fire itself. Oh, just love it. So as I said earlier on, really looking forward to actually trying to get out and do as many sort of hot tenting trips as possible between the Polish Lviv and this one. So as I said, this is the OneTigris iron wall tent. So absolutely love it. Huge amount of room inside it. I only ever go camping by myself, but there is certainly definitely room for two without any problems whatsoever. Even with the actual stove, there's certainly enough room at the top end there for someone else to actually be there. So it's pretty damn impressive. I don't know if you can hear that fire, it's just lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to get my bedding all organised. Okay, well that's me heading off to bed now. It's been an incredibly relaxing night. It's been pouring with rain, absolutely torrential. But it's been really nice. There's nothing quite like sitting in a tent and you've got that sort of rain noise, just constant. It's nice because there's no wind more than anything. It's more the howling gales that normally keep me awake with the actual tent. So as I said, really, really nice, really relaxing. But barring any incident, I shall see you all in the morning. Well, good morning there, folks. Hopefully you have either heard it or you're just about to hear the rather annoying owl I shared the evening with last night. But as I was saying, I'm actually in their playground, so basically I can understand why. But I think he must have only been about sort of 10-15 yards away, chatting away all night. But a really good sleep. What I'm going to do again, I'm going to show you the setup that I've actually got once it gets a little bit brighter. But as I said, it was a really comfy sleep, really warm sleep as well. So sort of let the fire sort of go out maybe about midnight. But up until that point it was absolutely roasty. And then it was just basically a case of actually woke up just a wee while ago. So I've got the fire back on again. So going to get some coffee and get some bacon on. Okay, so I'll give you a wee guided tour of camp. And as I said, I just love this little section in the actual woodland. So I've done a few videos here. So again, it's actually, I don't know if you can see it in the background, but the shelter is sort of like over there somewhere. The sort of Viking shelter. So this is just a little bit of woodland that's actually just beside the actual shelter itself. And as I said, the Forestry Commission have given me the opportunity to sort of play around in it. But I absolutely love it. It's really, really nice. It was very noisy last night though. Lots of sort of deer action, sort of rutting and all that sort of things as well. So it was actually a little bit on the scary side, the amount of noise that was sort of kicking about. But I said a really good night's sleep. So I'm just going to do a walk around the outside of the actual tent itself, and then we'll have a little peek inside it. So that's it. It's the OneTigris iron wall tent. One of their hot tents, and as I said, really, really like it. I've done quite a few trips in it. So basically I've got it tied off at the actual back just to sort of give it some extra space. So it does look a little bit on the odd side from the actual back of it. And again, ventilation at the actual bottom. Now I've actually got with me the interior for it as well, so you actually get a section for the interior netted off again, which I'd need for if I did use the tent just during the summer, just with the midges, etc. But really good. And then you've got your stove jack just there, which as I said is burned away nicely. But we'll pop inside. So I've got all my gear around the left hand side, which is beside my sleeping bag, and the reason I do that is just to sort of give me a bit of warmth. So again, obviously the ventilation side of things, I just don't want to actually get cold, so that just sort of keeps it there. So I had the Uco light on last night, the candle, and then I've got obviously the wood burning stove just there, which is just brilliant. Wee table. I tend to go a wee bit luxury on this these trips. So as I said, really nice setup. So just incredibly relaxing. I just had a nice chilled morning, but it's really a case of trying to get the actual work done now in the shelter and get the second raised bed done. And I said the other idea is to try and get as many leaves as possible. Now again, this particular woodland that I'm in is more pine, so there's not an awful lot in the way of leaves, so I'm going to have a wee wander around, try and see if I can actually find things. But we'll get up and get going. So one of the things I'm wanting to do today as well is making a new mallet. This mallet, I reckon, must be 2 years old, and it served me well. But as you can see, it's actually on one side it's basically sort of just disintegrated. Now, it doesn't seem to be stopping it working, but I just want to try and make another one and make it a little bit sort of sturdier. What I don't want to be doing is, as I'm hitting it, this thing bounces up and hits me or anything at all. So we'll head off and we'll try and see if we can actually find some wood for it. Now I'm actually going to cut off quite a big piece, and it'll become sort of explanatory when I actually put it in the sawing horse. Okay, so let's get it over and get it fixed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm wanting the sort of top part of the mallet itself to be about that sort of long. So I'm just actually going to saw down, not all the way through, just to actually make the handle itself. Okay, so that's that bit done. I can now actually saw this in half, and then what I'm going to do is take it over to the actual wood block. Okay, so let's put it to some use. Okay, so that's me got everything laid out, just checking over everything over, just to make sure that I've got the right lengths and the right quantities, and also just sort of making sure, because again, each individual wall, front and back, all need to be the same height. So it's really a case of getting them actually in an order that I know that they're going to match up when I actually build it up. So also using my little bushcraft ruler, which is actually something that I've been sort of discussing with a few people. So basically what I've done, you can actually probably see on there, all I've done is I've actually marked out various sections, because it doesn't have to be 1 centimetre, 2 centimetre, or whatever. It can actually just be particular wedges. And then all I've done is just cut out little wedges with my knife, and then actually just use charcoal, just actually in the edges, just to actually mark it out. And then just for measurements, etc. as well. So handy wee thing, just a fun wee thing to do more than anything. You know, so again, just from the point of view of the actual measurements, just making sure everything's all spot on. So what I'm going to do is just transfer everything up there and actually just start getting the actual raised bed actually built up. And what I'm going to do again, even from the point of view of the actual mallet, the mallet that I've actually just made, basically because it's been so wet over the last wee while, if I was to use it, it would actually just disintegrate. So I'm going to take it home, put it in the conservatory and let it dry out just with the actual heat. So I'm going to use this one for this purpose. Okay, so just going to start feeding everything in, and then I said I'll tie everything up. So these are the actual raised beds. So that's the second one actually finished as well. So basically I'd done that one a few weeks ago, but that's the sort of second one actually done and sort of built up. So the next bit is going to be actually filling them. So they're going to be filled with leaves and just let that sort of break down over time. Now, the only thing is the actual woodland that I'm in, because it is basically a pine forest, there's just nothing in the way of leaves or the quantity of leaves that I'm actually looking for. So what I'm possibly going to do is end up actually taking bags in, or coming up with an alternative plan. I can search a little bit higher up into the woodland maybe, but I have sort of spent an hour sort of wandering around trying to find, there's just not enough. The leaves that are there, they're quite small leaves, and by the time I actually got a bag of them down, it just wouldn't fill much. From the point of view if they're just so small. So thoroughly enjoyable trip, but what I'm going to do is just going to head over to camp and sort of slowly taking it down before I head home. Well, what can I say? That's just been one of my favourite trips I've done in a very long time. Just so enjoyable, so chilled, so relaxing. Have to say this woodland just does so much for my head and soul and all that sort of thing. So hopefully it comes across in the actual video itself and you've enjoyed it. But I'm just going to slowly take down camp. I hate videoing that, so I'll just slowly do that and sort of head back to the actual van. But I just want to say a massive thank you if you've watched all the way through. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And hopefully if you have, give it a wee subscription. It'd be very much appreciated. But we'll see you on the next adventure. Take care, bye bye.